here. Here's one that's a little bit rougher and rawer about his makeup. He's really rugged, kind of a bull calf. He might be a little more straighter up through his front 1/3 than I would like to see today, but certainly a level hip calf that comes out with a nice hind leg. Just a good solid calf for this class. Let's give this young lady a round of applause.
And first place in Class 23 over in your Red Pole Bull Show goes to entry number 21. Hey K's Doe Daddy, exhibited by Kyle Young. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 24. And your senior heifer calf champion over in your Salier Show goes to entry number 4878. MNMS Juliet 40J, exhibited by Micah Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. And your reserve senior heifer calf champion goes entry number 4882, MNMS Jolene 38J, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 13 summer yearling heifers.
Another single entry in the Red Pole Show. Here's one January bull calf that's made really nice, really long out through his front 1/3. Has a really nice shoulder that lays in there. And you really admire this one about his testicle development at this stage of the game. His tail head lays in there really nice into his spine and really long and level about his top. Just a nice solid bull to win this particular class.
And first place in class number 24 goes to entry number 22. Esquire's Top Gun, exhibited by Esquire Land and Cattle and Jackson Farms. Congratulations. Now we are ready for your calf bull champion over in your Red Pole Show.
Well, Alyssa and I really like this group of bull calves here, and I'll tell you what, when you come out here and study these three, they're going to be some good productive bulls for this breed later on as they mature out, and they've got the look and the pattern that we look for today as far as the eye appeal and the structure and the amount of bone and substance that they have. So let's give them a round of applause, and Alyssa's going to go out and pick your champion reserve in this division. Let's give them another nice round of applause. Three really nice bull calves.
And your champion calf bull goes to entry number 20, JF Guns N' Roses, exhibited by Jackson Farms. Congratulations. And your reserve champion bull calf goes to entry number 22, Esquire's Top Gun, exhibited by Esquire Land and Cattle and Jackson Farms. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
All right, we got a pair of really long-bodied, extended cattle that are out here in this kind of summer-born yearling class, and I think that there's some trade-offs between the two of them. But I like the young lady heifer here circling around in the blue shirt to be our class winner. I read her is quite a bit more flexible in terms of how she's built, and her hip and her hind leg quite a bit more nearly appropriate in terms of the angle to her shoulder. I think she, like the second-place calf, could maybe stand to be a little deeper-bodied, but I do read her to have a little bit more softness there. The heifer that's kind of being a pill here and going to take a little stroll by herself, probably read her as a little stouter, but she too could be softer in terms of her rear rib and flank, gets a little straighter off either end of her skeleton.
And first place in class number 13, Summer Yearling Salier Heifers, goes to entry number 6503, RF Loretta 89J, exhibited by Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. And your second place goes to entry number 4880 MNMS Jesse, exhibited by Micah Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 14 early and late spring yearling heifers.
Single entry here again in the Red Pole Show. And here's an October bull calf here that's a really nice made kind of a calf, really long spined. You appreciate how sound he is when he goes in motion. Really good testicular development going on in here and coming on a yearling bull. And if we just change this one a little bit, we just like to lay that tail head down into a spine ever so slightly, but certainly a nice bull for this particular class.
And first place in class number 27 in your Red Pole Bull Show goes to entry number 23, DFM The Rock, exhibited by Lane McCall. Congratulations. We're now ready for class 28 in your Red Pole Bull Show.
Here's a single entry September bull calf here, and here's one that's got it it's loaded, full of red meat, and if he works in your program, here's one that's going to add a little bit more muscle to your cattle. He's a little rounder in his muscle shape for me, but certainly here's a thick-ended kind of a calf that's got that rough look to him, rugged look to him. That's going to go out and probably breed some really good calves to go into the commercial setting. Let's give him a round of applause. Nice bull calf. We'll come out with bring the other calf out here and decide for your division. Just a nice bull calf in this particular class.
And first place in class 28 goes to entry number 24, Esquire Justified, exhibited by Esquire Land and Cattle. Congratulations. We are now ready to select your intermediate bull champion.
Well, nice pair of March coming 2-year-old bred heifers, and like I said before, I think there's a little bit of trade-off to be had between the two of the cattle. It's kind of my commitment to structural integrity and flexibility that lands me on the gentleman's heifer to win. She's obviously got quite a bit of flexibility down low. She's really big-footed and very comfortable out here. You know, maybe she's one that could actually stand a little straightening in terms of her hock and how it sits down to the ground as she's just a little round out of her hip, but that does allow her to take a nice full stride. And I think that as you get off to the side of her, she's the one that wants to attach her neck a little higher in the top of her shoulder. I do believe that she blends her shoulder blade into her body wall with a little bit more appropriateness. You know, certainly one that you might take a step behind and appreciate a little bit more of the top side shape that we get in that heifer that comes in the second position. She really does open up big and bold at the back side of her shoulder blade. You know, maybe doesn't necessarily match that as you get in behind her. She wants to funnel down to her base. I think for me, you know, the trade-off comes for her in terms of how she's built in her shoulder blade, a little bit out there on her corners, a little straighter in the angle there, and she matches it in terms of her hock. But if you like one that's a little bit stouter, a little bit more dimensional, particularly in terms of her top side shape, I can certainly entertain a switch of the pair.
Two really nice fall bulls over here on your Red Pole Show, and for this division. And you know, there's differences between these two. I mean, they're like apples and oranges the way that they're made. And I'm just going to kind of describe them a little bit as the way Alyssa and I see them. I mean, we have a really ultra good-looking bull as far as the pattern in this bull that wins the first class. And you know, both of these bulls have really good testicular development. And you know, it's going to come down to personal preference for us, but I think that both these bulls have an impact that they can go on and breed on into this breed, and you know, you got different looks. You got the eye appeal and the structure and the style of the calf here in the first class, and then the second class. Here's one that's built at he's just a truck. He's a thickened kind of a calf, and if your cows need to shop more muscle, here's one that's going to work for you, and put him in your breeding program. You know, he didn't have quite the rib shape that the calf does in the front, but certainly he's made nice out through his front 1/3. You maybe want to level him just a little bit there from his hooks to his pins, but certainly two really nice bulls. I'm going to go out and pick your champion in this division. Let's give him a round of applause. Two nice bulls in this particular division.
Got another division selection over here in the Slayer show, and I think it's relatively close. I think two cattle that are fairly similar in type, both very flexible at the surface, very comfortable as they come out here. You know, maybe both the cattle like I might have dinged in class relative to their just overall dimensionality and body depth and shape, but still good long-bodied, sound structured cattle. You know, I think that the older heifer is the one that I read is just opening up with a little bit more dimension and shape at the top side of her rib cage, and she's going to go ahead and be my preference for our division champion. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
And your junior champion, Solaire Heifer, goes to entry number 6509, FRF Lacey 36J, exhibited by Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations.
You know, we talked about in class that I would entertain, you know, arguments to switch that pair just because I do think that you get more dimension of muscle out of the heifer that I opted for in second. You know, still, there were some appropriate criticisms in terms of the build of her shoulder blade, but you know, I think out here I'm going to go ahead and keep that pair of heifers together. She'll be your reserve champion. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Over here on your red pole side, here's another single entry May yearling bull, and I'll tell you what, here's another nice bull. If you guys are looking out here for breeding ideas, here's a big-footed kind of rascal here. When he goes out in motion, he goes out and hits his stride. He's got some red meat in him, just a good, solid beef bull right there. It'll be interesting to see him come out in the champion drive. Let's give him a round of applause.
And your reserve champion, Solaire Heifer, goes to entry number 4877, TTG Blossom Julia 40J, exhibited by Micah Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 18 Solaire Heifers. And following along over in your red pole show, intermediate bull champion goes to entry number 23, DFM The Rock, exhibited by Lane McCall, and your reserve intermediate red pole bull champion goes to entry number 24, Exquire Justified by exhibited by Exquire Land and Cattle Company. Also, first place in class 31 goes to entry number 25, JF Focus, exhibited by Jackson Farm and Gary Taylor. Congratulations. That will also be your automatic junior bull calf champion.
Gonna kind of kick off a set of single entries out here, and I think we've got a nice single entry heifer. I think that in terms of reading one with some extra top in her, certainly some spread to her pins, you can like her, very soft in terms of how she hits the surface and how she handles her pastern. I think if I pick on her, it's how she attaches her neck into her shoulder blade, just a little bit lower there in her head carriage as a result. I think that's all as a detriment caused by the straightness of the angle of her shoulder. You know, she's not that way off of the hind end of her skeleton, though. I think she's got a nice long hip, certainly has some flexibility at the ground, but still nice long-bodied extended female, a nice project for the gentleman.
A nice rugged bull here is your senior yearling champion in this division, and here's one that you really got to admire his levelness of his hip and how sound he is as he goes. You know, you might want to give him, just stretch this guy out just a little bit from shoulder back into stifle. For me, just give him a little more punch to him, but certainly a sound bull that goes out and makes a good profile. Let's give him a round of applause. Nice senior yearling bull.
And first place in class number 23, an automatic senior champion bull, goes entry number 26, SBF Rockefeller, exhibited by Salas Rains. Congratulations. We're now ready for the selection of your grand champion, Red Pole Bull. Again, we are ready to select your grand champion, Red Pole Bull. And first place in Class 18 over in your Salier show goes entry number 6510, RF Lady 49J, exhibited by Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations.
Little guy brings us a nice heifer, coming 2-year-old, really good-bodied, soft-middled kind of a female. You can see that she's got some appropriate refinement and teat spacing there back into her udder, kind of as we send her into production. Maybe one that's not the longest bodied. She's a touch shorter coupled maybe than is perfectly ideal, but still I think very functional brood cow prospect, a nice individual for the young man to bring us.
And first place in Class 19 in your Salier Heifer Show goes to entry number 3933, JBK Junta 3J, exhibited by Tyson Sheehy from Princeton, Indiana. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 20. Folks on the Red Pole side, I would like to introduce our judges again today, Mr. Gary Staley and Alyssa Carter. Could you please join me in giving them a round of applause for coming out and evaluating your Red Pole show today?
Well, we got a big 2-year-old heifer out here, and it's certainly one that you've got to like at the foundation. Big-footed, big square feet, has plenty of bone underneath of her, and I think that matches the top side of her body as well. She's really good-bodied, really substantial as you kind of read her from every angle. I'd like to maybe push her chest back into her sternum a notch more, give her a little bit more attractive look from the side, and we're pretty dang close to her second birthday here. In fact, we might have actually passed it. I wish she was here with a baby calf next to her, but the young lady tells us that she'll actually calve in January, so and she looks like she might be on track for that to be on time as well. So appreciate her just in terms of her overall mass and power.
We're down to the champion Red Pole Bull. And I'll tell you what, it's been an honor to come out here and judge and sort these Red Pole cattle today. I think that these cattle have a place in the industry. I think that when you look at these cattle as they're lined up, I mean, they've all got some look to them. They're really sound and functional at the ground. And my hat's off to you, because there's a lot of shows that you can go through and watch throughout this week, and you don't see the structural integrity as much as you would like to see sometimes in some of the shows and some of the bull shows. And my hat's off to you guys. There's 4 bulls that's representing your breed right now that are really nice and sound. I'd like to thank the North American for asking me to come and do this. It's been a pleasure. There's nothing like coming out here on the green shavings and either showing or evaluating cattle out here. This is one of the best places, best venues in the world to evaluate cattle, and it's been an honor with Alyssa today. She's a good friend of mine that over the years I've watched her grow up, and now she's becoming a very successful person in her own right as far as in the beef industry, and it's been a pleasure to do that with her today. So I'm going to pass the mic on over to her, let her have her summation, but I think that there's 2 good representations of the Red Pole breed here when we get done. So here's Alyssa, and I appreciate the opportunity, and I think that your cattle are really headed in the right direction.
Again, it has been an honor to come out here and judge the Red Pole heifers and the bulls with Gary. It's been a dream of mine to just come out and judge on the green shavings. It's been an amazing show, and again, I would just like to thank Gary and the North American for letting me come out and do this.
And your grand champion Red Pole Bull goes to entry number 20, JF Guns N' Roses, exhibited by Jackson Farms. Congratulations.
As the reserve pulls out here over on the red pole side, again, there's another four good bulls, and the bull that pulls out here in reserve in that division is falls back into line with the four that we had out here. So I'm going to go out and get your reserve champion bull, and it's been a pleasure today.
Got a nice division championship here in the Slayer show, and I think 3 cattle that are fairly different in terms of type and kind. I think the youngest heifer of the lineup is super long and extended. Maybe we nickeled on her a little bit in terms of how she's built in her shoulder blade, and maybe like to soften her up in terms of her center body. I do think the 2 older heifers are a little bit better there in terms of their midrib. They do strike me as a little bit easier keeping option cattle, but there's some trade-offs amongst them. I do read the gentleman's heifer to be a little bit more moderate in terms of her frame size. I guess we don't know exactly where she is in terms of parturition date, but one that at least gets the benefit of the doubt on being a touch younger. She's not expected to have calved until January of this coming year. She's a little straighter in the angle of her shoulder as well, and I think that as you get in behind her, maybe you'd like to see her a little stouter, but I like the extra body that she's got. Looks like a nice kind of productive brood cow prospect. Young lady's heifer that's coming out of the 3rd class, really stout, big-footed and big bone, probably has the muscle advantage relative to her contemporaries out here. I think that you would be right in saying that she could be built a little bit differently from her shoulder forward, both from an aesthetics and design perspective. I'd sure like to see her a little bit closer to her 2nd birth date in terms of bringing a calf along with her, but I do believe that she's got one there in her belly, and she's probably getting a little closer there in terms of calving. So with that said, I think it kind of comes down to these 2 older heifers that are a nice complement to each other in terms of body type. I just read a little bit more dimension in the bigger, older heifer. She's going to be my pick for the division champion. Reserve will be the young man. So let's give them a nice round of applause.
And your senior champion heifer goes to entry number 4680, AJCS Ezra 49H, exhibited by Logan Gibson of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. And your reserve senior heifer calf goes to entry number 19 at 3933, JBK Juanita 3J, exhibited by Tyson Shee from Princeton, Indiana. Congratulations. And over in your red pole side, your reserve grand champion bull goes to entry number 23, DFM The Rock, exhibited by Lane McCall. Congratulations to those red pole exhibitors. And now entering the ring, we are ready for the selection of your grand champion Solaire female. Again, we are ready for your selection of the grand champion Solaire female here at the North American. Over in your red pole side, we are selecting your best 2 head. Again, in the ring is the selection of your best 2 head.
All right, on the Slayer side, we're picking our champion purebred heifer, and obviously, I think some cattle that have some nice things to be said about them from end to end, but still have some differences. And I think that's appropriate relative to the size of the show, and also the fact that everybody likes different kinds. I think that it probably isn't necessary to go back through and re-describe each one of these heifers out here, just because it wasn't too terribly long ago that we had those classes. But I do think that in terms of picking one, I think that there's a few ways you could go, and I do hope that at least you've had the opportunity to follow along to determine that I try to have when possible a commitment to a combination of traits, including some soundness, some body type, and maternal quality, while still recommending or remembering that these are beef cattle, and that this is a continental breed that we expect some muscle to be the source from. So with that said, I think that there's, like I said, a few different ways you could go, and if you like a different heifer than me, that's probably why you brought her. And everybody likes a different type and style of cattle. With that said, I think I'll take one more look at these cattle and show you the one that I like the very best. Each one of them had some opportunities for improvement. I mentioned in another breed that I had the chance to judge here this weekend that I'm critical, and those that know and love me know that that's true, and I think that that's all right. We should always be looking to improve on our critters, because if we don't think that they have opportunities for improvement, we're probably guilty of being a little bit barn blind. So with that said, I'll go show you the 2 that I like the very best. Please congratulate these folks for all of their hard work, as well as the breeders that have supported them.
And your grand champion Slayer female goes to entry number 4680, AJCS Ezra of 49H, exhibited by Logan Gibson of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. And your reserve champion female, Salier female, goes entry number 3933, JBK Drenta 3J, exhibited by Tyson Sheehy from Princeton, Indiana. Congratulations. We are now ready for Class 25 Salier cow-calf pairs. Again, we are ready for your Class 25 Salier cow-calf pairs.
All right, we've got a beginning of our cow-calf pair show over here on the Salier side, and got a young cow out here, just a first calf heifer is my assumption, with a little baby calf on her side, born in October. A nice pair, and I think that everybody evaluates cow-calf pairs differently, but I always like to see the mother improve herself with her calf, and I think that she's definitely done that. I think the big red cow, certainly big-footed and big bone, long-bodied. She's obviously putting a lot into that little calf at her side, but I think the calf at her side is an improvement on her. Really level. I think maybe a little bit neater fronted and better built in terms of her hip and her hind leg, as well as her shoulder blade. Hopefully her belly comes along as well. If I'm going to get nitpicky on the red cow, I might like to make her a little bit more robust there in terms of her forerib, shorten her up in terms of her teat length. But obviously it's all working together fine to put into a nice little heifer calf, a nice single entry.
And first place in Class 25 Salier cow-calf pairs goes entry number 4879, MNMS Sweetness 20H, exhibited by Micah Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 26 Salier cow-calf pairs.
All right, just because cow-calf pairs can be a challenge to get moved around, we're just going to leave them as they stand. And our class winner is going to be the black pair to my right. Two older, aged cows or kind of middle-aged cows that bring to us, a pair of really nice calves. And honestly, I think it's a fairly close decision because I think both of these cows have upgraded themselves and have obviously put in a lot of good nutrients into their calves. They're performing well and growing well. I think that my preference being the black pair is kind of based off of kind of what the cow brings to the table. I read this cow to be a little bit more appropriate in terms of how she is built in terms of her shoulder blade. I read her as a little bit higher performing, longer bodied option, and you might want to ding on her for not having just a ton of hip to her. And I think that she's upgraded herself in terms of her calf. Talked about the calf in class earlier as being a little bit straighter off both ends, and she continues to be that way in this class. But still, I think she's a nice individual. The kind of the mixed colored pair here is obviously I think a nice pair. I really like the bull calf, good fronted, muscular, high performing summer born bull. The cow I think is probably where this pair gets a little bit shorter. Cow gets a little bit straighter and bolder in terms of her shoulder blade. And I'd like to maybe redesign some of the assembly and placement of her teat structure. But still, I think she's doing a nice job with that red bull calf and a nice duo of pairs out here for our pair show.
And first place in Class 26 of your cow-calf pairs goes to entry number 5472, WF Meg 85F, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms from Mount Virginia. And second place in that class goes to entry number 6511, RF Rosie 917, exhibited by Rose Farms, Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations. We'll now be selecting your grand champion Salyer cow-calf pair.
In order to pick a champion, I think obviously there's some differences between these two cows and calves in terms of just maturity. I think that obviously our younger pair has time to their advantage just in terms of kind of living up to the expectations that their breeders might have before them. Maybe a pair of cattle that could be just a little bit more dimensional in terms of their body shape, but still I think good cattle, very functional. The older pair I think is probably a little bit stouter, a little bit broodier, maybe ones that have picked on a little bit in terms of some structure and some build things, but still I think power and performance are certainly to their advantage. That's going to be my preference. Let's give those folks a nice round of applause for their champion cow-calf pair. I think a little closer decision here, as we bring that second place contender out of the aged cow division in for contention. Obviously some differences again in terms of maturity of the cows and also the calves. But, I think that if we kind of read into, which one's done the very best in terms of maintaining herself in terms of production, as well as kind of feeding into, the next generation, my preference lies with that aged pair that was second to our division champion. Let's give them a nice round of applause as well.
And your grand champion cow-calf pair goes to entry number 5472, WF Meg 85F, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms from Rocky Mount, Virginia. Congratulations. Your reserve grand champion cow-calf pair goes to entry number 6511, RF Rosie 917, exhibited by Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations. We are now ready for your Summer Bull Calf, Class 29 in your Salyer Bull Show. Again, we are ready for Class 29 Salyer Bull Show. With the conclusion of the pictures, we are ready for Class 29 Summer Bull Calves in your Salyer show.
All right, we're kicking our Salyer Bull Show back off, and we've got an added class here, a single entry little June calf that came out of our pair show. And again, we kind of described him in that class, and there's a lot of things you can like about this guy. Obviously, really high performing relative to his birth date. I think he's got plenty of foot and bone underneath of him. Nice big top, thick ended kind of a calf. You know, out here by himself, he wants to get a little bit knuckled over in his pasterns every now and then. I think that might be just we're a little immature and fighting the halter a bit, but I think still a really nice bull and certainly a good prospect to keep an eye on for a herd sire prospect.
And first place in Class 29 goes to JPK Knight 002K, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 30 early spring bull calves in your Salyer Bull Show.
All right, got a pair of March bull calves out here. in the Slayer show. And I think that there's some trade-offs between the two of these guys, but obviously some extra dimension and skeletal width advantages go to the gentleman's bull that offers a little bit more maturity. Obviously we didn't run these cattle across the scale, but he visually looks like he's probably reached a higher weight per day of age. I think if you're going to get picky on him, you might like to pick him up in his pin set and level him out a little bit down his top line. But still, I think a nice bull that has some extra dimension. Obviously the one that gives you a little bit more showier look out here, maybe a little bit more attractive assembly to his hip and his hind leg, is this bull calf that comes in next. Really pretty fronted and from his shoulder forward. It just gives up some in terms of dimension and power as we compare him to that heavier weight bull. We've got a division selection from our spring and I guess kind of summer-born champions, and two bulls that I think are very rugged and dimensional in type and kind. I just see a little bit more quality and attractiveness in the younger bull, the little red bull calf, longer fronted, smoother shouldered kind of an option. Certainly nothing to take away from the big black bull, but I just think that the more kind of show ring ready option is that younger bull. He's going to be our division champion. Reserve will be the black bull.
And your champion spring bull calf goes to entry number, comes out of class 29, JPK Knight 002K, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be class 42.
Got a nice single entry April yearling bull here. Big back, muscular kind of a guy that you can like when you get right up on top of him. I think that if you're going to change him, it's from his shoulder forward, just a little plainer there, a little deeper in terms of his chest. Might like to pick him up in his pin set. But good masculine headed crusty bull that looks like he's appropriate in terms of where he is in a maturity pattern.
And first place in class 42 goes entry number 2693, RMF Josiah J24, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm of Rocky Mount, Virginia. Congratulations. We're now ready for class 45, Slayer Bull Show. We would like to note your reserve spring bull calf champion goes to entry number 6506, RF Bullet 12K, exhibited by Rocky Rose Farms of Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations.
Like a super nice profiling option here in the January class to kind of round up individual classes today. Long, extended, super level, one that hits the surface with some appropriateness in terms of flexibility, particularly in the design of his hip and his hind leg. I guess I don't know if this guy saw some use already or not, but he looks like he's kind of comes to us in some range ready kind of rig, and probably doesn't have the extra bloom that we might see in some show bulls that he might run against at larger shows. But man, I think today one that you can just really appreciate how genuine he is and how nicely built he is. A really nice single entry.
And first place in Class 45 goes to entry number 2692, GGT Platinum 127J, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms of Rocky Mount, Virginia. Congratulations. We will now be selecting your junior champion bull here in your Salier show.
Well, nice pair of bulls that are kind of contrasting in terms of types, and certainly both useful options. And I think there's one though that looks like a show bull that I think could really impart some nice pieces of balance and quality into future generations. That's going to be our older bull. He's going to be my preference for this division. Nothing to take away from a very useful kind of a herd sire prospect that comes in for reserve honors. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
And your champion junior bull goes to entry number 45. Your junior champion bull goes to entry number 2692, GGT Platinum 127J, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm of Rocky Mount, Virginia. And your reserve junior champion bull goes to entry number 2693, RMF Josiah J24, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farms of Rocky Mount, Virginia. Congratulations. We'll be now ready to select your grand champion Salier bull. Folks around ringside, if you could join me in giving Miss Jara Settles a round of applause for coming out and judging your Salier show.
Well, a nice pair of bulls to kind of finalize things in the bull show, and two cattle that I think definitely stand some use within the breed. And we've seen some cows and heifers yet today that I think that they'd certainly work nicely on. And I think at this chance, I know that we don't have just a huge crowd around ringside, but certainly want to extend my sincere appreciation to the breeders who suggested me to come out here to Louisville to judge your show. I know that every now and then I don't always run into good Salier cattle where I live, but when I do, man, it does seem like they've always kind of come to compete, and that's certainly a testament to you guys and in this part of the country to continue just clicking away and raising nice cattle. And so I really appreciate getting the nod to come out here and work with your exhibitors and look through your cattle, and certainly appreciate our astute ring help out here for their help in getting these things in and out for us to take a look at. I think that in terms of picking between these two guys, I think really a couple nice options. I think the bull calf is one that, again, relative to his very young age, is certainly on the track to being a really nice addition to the herd. And then you've got a bull that I think is a little bit more proven, just in terms of what you see is what you get. Built nice, good-looking kind of a bull that I think could see a lot of use in production. I'll go out and shake the hands of the two that I like the very best. Again, thank you so very much for having me out here to sort through your stock. Let's give these guys a nice round of applause for their hard work.
And your grand champion Salier bull goes to entry number 2692, GGT Platinum 127J, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm of Rocky Mount, Virginia. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion bull comes out of class 29, JPK Knight 002K, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm. Congratulations.
We've got a nice little get a sire here out of their herd bull called Yuma. You know, I think obviously these cattle are really stamped, muscular, thick-ended cattle that you love the extra shape that this bull must put into them. You know, obviously cattle that you might like to breed around a little bit in terms of some structural modifications, but good cattle, uniform cattle, are really nice get a sire to represent that sire group.
And your champion junior get a sire goes to Rose Farms of Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations. We are now ready for the selection of your best 5 head. We will now be selecting your best 5 head, and while we do that, we do have your premier breeder and premier exhibitor placings. Your premier breeder for this year's show goes to Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee, and your premier exhibitor also goes to Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations to those.
We've got our selection for our best 5 head, and you know, obviously, the group to my left has a bit of an advantage in the fact that you know, whenever we're looking for group classes, we're looking for some uniformity, and them kind of being fairly similar in terms of bloodline and breeding type, I think has been to their advantage. So I'm going to prefer to just kind of leave these cattle as they stand, with our best 5 head being these to my left. You know, nothing to take away from these folks over here to my right. I think good cattle, just a little bit more differences in terms of type and kind amongst them, but still very nice individuals, just a little more uniformity in the solid black group here. Let's give them a nice round of applause for their best 5 head.
And your top best 5 head goes to Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee, and your reserve goes to Micah Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations, and congratulations to all Solir and Optimizer exhibitors for a successful show here at the North American. Please note we will be back here in Broadbent Arena at 8 o'clock in the morning.